Hey everybody, it is Tuesday. Me and Alex are back for another episode of DeBord Room. And dude, now last week we talked about New England being active, but I did not imagine this. This has been the weirdest 2-day period out of my 25 years of being a Patriots fan. I've never seen them spend this kind of money. It's getting to the historic value. I think they've spent the most guaranteed money, the second most guaranteed money in NFL history. And they're not done yet. But before we get into that, I'm Josh. That is Alex. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, honestly, I expect you guys to be busy, but not this crazy busy. I expected the Browns to be a little bit more proactive. I'm happy we got our safety, but
You got the best safety available.
we did. But, I mean, there were multiple linebackers and multiple edge rushers that I really wanted Yannick, and I think that's a waste to him going to the Raiders. I think that, I mean, he's wasting his talent, and if he went there to revive his career, he made a bad choice. So, yeah, I mean, good week. Excited to, talk about this because this is going to be a good episode.
Dude, we have enough stuff to talk about for like 5 hours, but we only have an hour and a half, so we'll go ahead and jump into it. So the question is, Patriots are loading up for 2021. Thoughts on the moves. So before we get thoughts, here they are, cap numbers and all. It's very important for people that are watching the market because I see all these idiots on social media. Oh my God, these contracts are terrible. It's all about the context of it. What is their salary cap number? You give them a huge signing bonus that offsets that number. Guaranteed money's key. So if you look at all the players New England have signed, that Hunter Henry number is not official yet. It's supposed to come in a little bit under that, but I'm being safe and overestimating a little bit. But this equals $41 million. New England came in with $71 million after trading Cannon to Houston for a great haul. They moved up in the third, fourth, and fifth rounds to Houston, who's picking top three because they were terrible last year. So $41 million. The big names on here is Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. They got the two tight ends set back. Matt Judon was a huge hit. I think he was the best top three pass rusher available. They got two re-signed Wise. Got Gacho from Miami to play in the middle. Jalen Mills plays 6 positions in the secondary, including both linebacker spots. You got Cam Friday, Kendrick Bourne. Who's the other? And Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, you forgot to add Aguilar.
Yeah, so his cap number is 4.6. So it's about $45 million. Or, 40. Let's go 46 just to be safe. And they have offers on the table right now for Leonard Fournette, Chris Carson, David Andrews, and now they're pursuing Rodney Hudson, who just got cut for some reason by Oakland because they need a center. And with Sonny Michel, contract year, James White getting significant interest. And I told you, Tampa Bay, where he looks like he's going to head, because I told you Fournette's going to price out. Alex, what do you think of all these moves?
So listen, it's like we talked about. The Henry and Jonnu Smith signings really, it's not that they alarm me, but sinking $56 million into tight ends and guaranteed money, that's a lot of money. Now, the way they, backloaded the contracts is going to help them as far as this year cap-wise, and then obviously the new TV deal, the cap number is going to surge probably $30 million, $40 million by the time it's all done, said and done. So this was very smart on their end as far as, this year getting around, even though they had a crap ton of money. You would think with the list that they signed that they would be done. They're tapped out at this point. They just got enough money left for their rookies that they're going to sign. But like we were talking about before we came on the air, they're probably not done. I mean, you think maybe they try and slip into the Deshaun Watson deal. I think the best you're going to get is Garoppolo. I honestly think Houston is sticking to their guns and doing the only smart thing they've done in the last probably 5 years, and they're not going to trade Deshaun. They're going to play chicken with him and see if he's willing to sit out a year, which I don't think he is. because if he doesn't play, he doesn't show up to training camp, he's going to get fined. All that money.
Tyrod Taylor now, that's the future.
Right. Tyrod Taylor. Right. So, but they have an insurance policy, because they're going to listen. They're going to lose no matter if Deshaun's under center or not this year. They're going to be a similar record if Deshaun's there. Maybe they challenge for that 0-16 mark if Tyrod starts the whole year. Right. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't think that he goes anywhere this year. I just don't think. I don't think even four first rounders from New England and all the players that they want to give up and everything else, I just don't think it's enough. Because those first rounders, if you trade to Deshaun to New England, they're not going to be anywhere close to the top 20. They're going to be in the bottom half, 25 and below of the first round every year. Is three late first rounders worth Deshaun Watson plus the number 12 pick, right? They're picking at 12 this year, right? 15. And that's the earliest you guys have picked in like 2 decades.
2008 2006 we got Gerard Mayo. We only picked there because the Niners traded their one to go up and get Joe Staley.
Right. But you see what I'm saying?
It's not. We don't pick in the top.
It's not a good policy, and I think the GM coming from New England to go there, he knows the history of the organization in New England. So he knows if he trades Deshaun Watson, that's 3 or 4 probably more Super Bowls before Bill retires. I mean, their defense is always good, no matter who they got on there. Now they got some big names on that defense, right? And you got all the guys coming back from COVID protocol, right? And that was a top 15 or top 12 defense last year without half of those guys.
Top 15, and they ranked top 12 in scoring, which is all that matters.
Right. So without all those guys, without 8 guys on your defense, right, you were able to be a top 12 in scoring, top 15 overall defense. So I don't see with the additions, even with Cam Newton under center, that you don't make the playoffs this year, especially with 7 playoff spots. There's no way you don't make the playoffs, right? Now, winning a division with Cam under center, you're not beating Buffalo. You're just not. I'm sorry. I know you have feelings about that, but Josh Allen has taken that next step. That defense has got better. Their offensive line got better this year in free agency. They're going to pick up some draft picks. They retained all their guys that they needed, right? The guys that were important, right? Milano was a big get because I thought he was leaving.
John Brown's a big loss.
I don't think so. I think John Brown is a bust in the NFL. I wouldn't.
Their number 2 receiver.
I mean, that's great, but how much of his numbers were because of Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley?
I could ask you the same thing. They had a guard, John Brown. John Brown was a very good player for Buffalo. And they get no production out of tight end.
Listen, it would not shock me.
Running game because
it would not shock me. It would not shock me if they try and make some type of move to draft old boy out of Florida, the tight end out of Florida. It would not shock me. It would not shock me. I'm not going to lie to you, because on that offense, besides the number 2 wide receiver now that Brown's out of town, what do you really need on that offense? You need a playmaking type, right? But you could pick up Trey Sermon is predicted to go in the 5th round of this draft. I don't know if you saw what Trey Sermon did to Clemson, but he made them look stupid, and that's supposedly a bunch of NFL talent guys there. So, if you can get a running back like Trey Sermon in the 5th round, and they don't have a 4th round pick, so that they're losing there. Because if I was them, I probably would have taken Sermon in the 4th, even though he's projected in the 5th, because he's worth it, right? I think he will be a legit pro. But there's plenty.
We're ways away from that because New England's not done.
Listen,
won't matter for another 2
guys
months.
Are going to rebound for sure. If you don't solve the quarterback position in the offseason, you're not winning the division, in my opinion. Your defense is great, but it's not enough to overcome inept Cam at quarterback. It just isn't. I don't care what anybody says.
See, where we differ is I don't think the Cam we saw last year is going to be the Cam he's not going to be that bad with a full camp, being 100% healthy, having an off season. He actually has some players to throw to. You give McDaniels a full year to scheme for him. He's not going to run a bullshit offense. There's a lot of shit. The Patriots, one thing they can do is game plan.
It's not, listen, it's not my lack of faith in Cam. I think he's a broken player now. He's not what I don't feel like he has the same zip on the ball. I don't feel like after that hit where his shoulder was destroyed, I just don't think he physically has it anymore. That's when there's no disrespect to Cam.
I don't know if he's the quarterback when we go in, but if he is, which right now we're assuming that he will, this team's going to rank top 3 in rushing. They're going to pound the shit out of the ball. He's going to.
You got two awesome. You got two great tight ends. You're going to run heavy package. You're going to play to Cam's strengths.
Greg Olsen was always his guy, so now he's got 2 of them. And then he's got Bourne, who kind of fits that Kelvin Benjamin kind of. He's not as big, but he's a fast. These receivers kind of.
I like Bourne a lot. I feel like San Francisco wasted his talent last year by not having Jimmy G and not having a real capable backup. Right.
If you look in the draft, they sit there at 15 and Waddle falls down there. It's like they're from Bama.
I don't think Waddle gets out of the top 10.
Right now, Devontae Smith's plummeting because all these quarterbacks moving up. So if Devontae Smith falls to I know New England sucks at picking receivers. We're probably about to trade N'Keal Harry for a 5th round pick just to kind of get him out the door. If Devontae Smith falls to 15, you throw another weapon in there. We're getting to the point where I'm questioning, is Julian Edelman's roster spot safe?
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but unfortunately, Devontae Smith is a product of a amazing system at Alabama. Yeah, not that he's not talented, right? Mm-hmm. But I promise you, Waddle will be a better pro than Devontae Smith. Yeah, Devontae Smith is like 175 pounds, dude. It takes one shot to break his femur. You know what I mean? He's just not big enough. And when you play at Alabama and you play the powder puffs on your off season, and then you have a decently difficult, regular season schedule, but you have 5-star everywhere, right? It's like an NFL team playing or a college team playing a high school team for the most part of their games until they play guys like Clemson, Ohio State. And you saw what they did to Ohio State. It was a different class of team. Nick Saban is, playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers is what it looks like, the way he recruits, right? So Devontae Smith, just because of his stature, I don't think he's going to be a great pro. I just don't. The work ethic is there. The hands are there. That's great. He's just too small. He's going to have to put on 20 pounds somewhere on that frame. You know what I mean? Waddle is who I would be targeting if I'm, taking a wide receiver.
I hope they keep going front 7. I like them getting young up there. Their run defense is 27th.
Yeah, I mean, you picked up a whole new defensive line for this year. 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackle.
Then we got some depth. Chase Winovich had a good year, even though he should never be our leading pass rusher because he's a smaller guy, but he's a high motor and he's good against the run.
Young guys that, like I told you.
Anthony Jennings, Hightower's back, Bentley's still there.
Like I told you, what makes Bill Belichick, if not the greatest coach of all time, top 2, no doubt, right, is he gets every ounce of talent out of every player. It's not that he makes, phenomenal players better. He gets every ounce of talent out of every guy. He has figured out how to put a guy in a position to win 99% of the time. That's his greatest strength, right? So you had guys that overperformed last year where we thought your defense was going to be a weakness because you had all those starters out, and it was really your strength.
He can coach a little bit. Matt Patricia's back in the defensive meeting room as well, which he was terrible as Detroit's head coach. That's another familiar guy. Patricia was the defensive coordinator. You got Gerard Mayo, who's literally the coordinator. Thank God we were able to help. He's going to be a head coach here soon.
I'm surprised.
Is a great guy.
I'm surprised. I mean,
I thought Philly was going to snatch him. I really did.
I think the past failures is why Gerard Mayo didn't get a shot this year, right? Matt Patricia, Romeo Crennel.
If Flores has another good year, I think teams will ease up on that a little bit. But yeah, dude, you go into their defense now. I mean, Lawrence Guy is a person that I think they'll still re-sign. I think he's just out there looking for money that he's not going to get.
He's not going to get it, right?
And then, so J.C. Jackson, I don't know what. Apparently, they're working on a contract for Gilmore for one more year to stick around because, like you said, I think they're throwing all their eggs into this basket for this year. So Gilmore might not even be a cap casualty or a trade chip anymore. You went out and you got the kid from Philly that plays six spots on defense, Jalen Mills. I mean, this defense is they're deeper than hell right now, and they're not done with it yet. That's why we'll stay tuned, obviously. And if anything breaks crazy while we're on the air, me and Alex both have it pulled up, and we'll let you guys know. But right now, as far as New England goes, all these players, plus Nelson Aguilar, Leonard Fournette, and Chris Carson, they're going after, with Sonny Michel in the last year of his deal, and with Damian Harris being injury-prone as hell his first few years, and James White's a free agent, and so is Rex Burkhead, they don't have any depth at running back past 2021. So, yes, a Leonard Fournette or a Chris Carson would be a huge add. Plus, they're in the center market, so their own David Andrews and Rodney Hudson, who Oakland decided to randomly cut, even though he was all-pro last year, or second team all-pro, but Oakland doesn't know what they're doing. So let's segue. Enough about New England because we're going to talk about them, I feel like, for a while this offseason. Your Browns made two moves that I've seen so far. The John Johnson move, not familiar with the guy, very quiet, silent kind of guy, but he played on the Rams defense with Aaron Donald and all that star power, so he just kind of got lost. Highest rated safety last year. Your guys' biggest weakness by far was safety. Then you add Tariq McKinney, who was a first-round pick by Atlanta, right?
Right.
And then he's kind of bounced a little bit, but he's a good rotation piece. But you guys still got a lot of money to spend. I think this second tier of free agents are about to start hitting.
Yeah, I mean, we signed.
You guys and the Colts have been very silent. I think the Colts are really into this Trent Williams sweepstakes right now with the 49ers because the Colts have one weakness, and it's their left tackle and their pass rush.
Right. So
if they can go grab Trent Williams, Bauer to go get him a pass rusher in the draft or somewhere else. So what are your thoughts on Cleveland's move so far, and who else you want them to target?
So we signed Kendall Lamb. Not a lot of people saw that, the right tackle from Tennessee. So we took another right tackle from Tennessee that we signed.
You took Conklin last year.
Conklin worked out real well. I'm just assuming Lamb is depth, right, in case we have any issues.
By your swing tackle.
We also picked up Vincent Taylor, who's a 27-year-old defensive tackle from Houston, who adds depth at the position. I don't know that he's necessarily going to start for us. Listen, McKinley is on a prove-it one-year deal, right? You supposedly have all this talent. He did nothing in Las Vegas. So we'll see. I'm very excited about John Johnson because he was the best safety that was available. If you look what he did for the Rams, he was very impressive for the Rams. He's only 26 years old, so he's young. So we got him in there.
3 years, 33 for one of the best safeties in the league right
now. Absolutely.
That's a great deal.
It's a great deal. I'm excited about it. I'm upset because I wanted Yannick. We talked about it, right? I feel like Yannick matched up on the other side, lined up on the other side. It would have made the difference, right? That's just a pass rush that I would not want to go against at all, ever, with Myles Garrett and Yannick on the other side. Yannick going to Las Vegas, I think, is a terrible decision. And I don't know what they're going to do there for him because he's going to get double and triple teamed. And he had an underwhelming year at the Ravens where they have a lot of pass rushers, right? And so,
if I was you guys, who I'd go out and get, and I thought you would have got him last year. He's still sitting there, and I think this guy's going to have a chip on his shoulder and playing on the other side of Garrett.
Don't tell me Clowney.
Clowney's still hanging out there.
Listen, I was all in for Clowney last year, and then he took that clown-ass deal and went to play for the Titans because he wanted money. If Clowney's not getting money, he's not going. So the reason he's still not signed is because he wants above market value for what he is now.
He's asking for like 10. So incentive the shit out of it. Give him 1 year, $6 million.
I heard he's asking for 10, but then other reports are he told Tennessee he wanted 12 or he wasn't coming back, right?
PFF
so that's why
has him getting a 1 year, $13 million fully guaranteed contract this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to give him $13 million for 1 year? I mean, that's pushing everything in, saying this is our year to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, give him 1 year deal. It falls off after 1 year. You guys got the cap space.
No, we do for sure, but
what are your other needs? What else do you want to go? Do you feel you guys need? You're going.
I feel like we need 2 linebackers. Period. We need 2 linebackers. That's my personal opinion. We need 2.
Linebacker market is like dead now.
Yeah, because we let them all get signed. We didn't even put competitive offers in to any of them, right? Like Matt Judon, who you guys got, we could have paid that price for him, and he's more of a hybrid linebacker. I can get him to do everything. I can get him drop back in coverage. He's not really a sack guy. I don't need him to be a sack guy with Garrett and another legit edge rusher. I need him to be more of a coverage guy, right? I can deal with him only getting 6 to 8 sacks. I'm fine with that.
There's like Jaylen Brown. He's out there. You got KJ Wright, he's a very good coverage linebacker. The lowest grade he's ever had, 75.3. I mean, the dude's very consistent. He's 2 years, $12 million projected. There's pieces out there. Oh shit, sorry you guys. Anthony Bardsville. Jones, I think he just took less money. I think Barr's still in Minnesota. He just restructured his deal to clear up some cash. Hi, I'm from UK. I'm a Ravens fan. I think we need to. What's up, Ashley? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you're a Ravens fan. You got a good running back. You got J.K. Dobbins. You got Gus Edwards. Another one wouldn't hurt, but if you don't add another one, I don't think you need a top running back. I think J.K. and Gus are the 2 people you're going to milk this year.
Yeah, listen, I don't think the Ravens need any help at running back. I think Gus Edwards has got plenty left in the tank, and I think Dobbins is a monster.
What about all the shit they're losing? They lost Judon. They're competence, whatever the fuck those picks are called. I can't
compensatory pick.
Yeah, that fucking word. Those picks next year will be great, but that does nothing for them because they signed Bowser, which he's a very good up and coming player. Judon, I was really surprised they let him go.
So obviously living in Maryland, right? And the sports station here is a Baltimore Ravens station, right? So they talk about it. They were going to let him go from the beginning. I mean, that's the talks here is that they want more of a edge rusher linebacker. They don't really want a hybrid, which is really what he is. He's going to give you 6 to 8 sacks a year. He's not going to get you double-digit sacks, and that's what they want from their linebackers, right? And I think that's kind of silly because I think he's one of the best at his position. I don't think you'll hear a lot of argument there. I thought that was a huge get for you guys.
Out of all the signings, that one I didn't see coming.
No, I didn't either. I knew he was going to go to a contender or what he perceived as a contender. I just didn't know that you guys signed him pretty early before you had made all these other signings.
Smith was the diamond that Bill wanted. Then Judon was where he went next.
And Hunter Henry was the icing on the cake.
Dude,
and then you add Bourne. You add Bourne.
They're like, Hunter Henry signs, and I was like, My worst case scenario was Buffalo because they need it if they get a legit tight end. They didn't have no money, but I looked and I was like, Jonu's
in the image of Gronk to me.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry's more of your Alex Hernandez, right? Hopefully he's not out murdering people. Yeah. But the point is
that's their offense. They run tight end sets.
That fits their scheme perfectly. Like I said,
got those 2 young guys that can block. Because you asked me earlier, what the hell are they going to do? Because they invested 2 threes. King's probably going to play a lot of fullback because Jacob Johnson's a restricted free agent. They've offered him a deal, but if he says, I want to go get paid.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody runs a fullback anymore but San Francisco.
We use a fullback.
But that's what I'm saying. Besides you guys in San Francisco.
And they just gave their fullback, who's a monster, 5 years, I think $28 million. So,
Weiss-Check, right? Isn't it Weiss-Check? Isn't that his name? Or okay.
He came from Baltimore, I think.
He deserves it. I mean, the guy's a stud, right? So
the versatility on this roster makes New England dangerous as long as they hit quarterback. We'll get into that in a little bit.
The name I really want, though, to get back to your answer for the Browns, is Solomon Thomas.
That'd be a buy low.
Highly underrated.
Shit out of that
high motor guy, right? Underrated. I think he got lost in the shuffle in San Francisco. You know, they just have a lot of talent there. And if he comes and he's on the other side of Myles Garrett, I really feel like he will win 80%, 90% of the time against single block cut. You know what I mean? So, like, I would love to get him.
Yeah, there's some out there. I mean, they're not going to be drop dead sexy names, but you could sign a couple of these guys just to kind of throw names out there for people watching. Alden Smith's out there, had a pretty decent bounce back year out of being out of the NFL for 5 years?
Yeah.
He won't call something. Melvin Ingram's out there. John Simon, New England, obviously ain't going to bring him back. He's very good at setting the edge. He's not going to get you 10 to 15 sacks, but he's there. Everson Griffin's out there. Bruce Irvin's out there. Clowney's out there. It looks like Von Miller will be staying.
Yeah, they
picked up his
gave
option.
him a 1-year deal. You know, well, they extended him basically with that.
It's crazy how they had Shaq Barrett at one point, and now look, they were both on that defense the year they won the Super Bowl.
See, the guy I would really love is Quan, right? I would love to get him, but we're set at middle linebacker, unfortunately, so we don't need him. But I think he's a true.
The guy who just got cut by New Orleans.
Yeah, Quan Alexander is a true difference maker at middle linebacker, but we don't need him. You know what I mean? So it sucks because it's like the guys that are still available that I would love to have. I mean, we're not. B.J. Goodson had an absolute great year last year at middle linebacker, so we're not going to go anywhere with him, right? So it's like, what do you do? Can Quan make the transition outside linebacker? That doesn't really work out well normally. You know what I mean? If you're a middle guy, you're a middle guy, you know? And even though he's running in a 3-4 as a middle, as an inside linebacker, maybe he can make the transition outside linebacker. But we need to pick up 2 linebackers. I truly feel like that is our weakness right now. Our secondary is going to be absolutely lights out this year with Greedy Williams coming back and Delpit. And now adding Johnson, and then you got Ward on the other side. Like, our back end of our defense is going to be maybe the best or, top 3, secondaries in the league, I feel like. If everybody lives up to what they showed, right, before they got hurt last year and the draft status and everything.
Yeah, he did get hurt.
I agree with you, Dave. I mean, I know but the talent is just worth the risk to me.
He'd be cheap. He wouldn't command. I know.
The talent is just worth the risk to me. That's why I say I would love to have him.
Dude, and this is a pretty solid linebacker draft too. They have like 10 that could go in the first 45.
Yeah, I mean, we're predicted to take Moulton, the kid out of Missouri, or I think it's Moulton or Bolton.
New England keeps being linked to that kid out of Notre Dame at 15 if he's still there. That'd be nuts. Hybrid linebacker safety. It's all what they need. Some more. Hell, New England's going to get to the point where they just need to start restructuring contracts or getting rid of these older guys because they're getting too damn deep. But a position that has not had a huge market yet is wide receiver. You still see all the top guys.
Besides you guys, nobody's really buying in this market right now.
Holiday, hanging out. Juju. Marvin Jones got 2 years, 14.
Miami, yeah.
Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville. Sorry, not Miami.
Urban has to, Urban's got to put his touch. He signed Carlos Hyde, and now he has to sign somebody not from Ohio State. So Are you surprised that this receiver market's been this quiet? Dude, I honestly to God thought the reason Baltimore was letting all these guys go is because I thought they were going to pounce on Galladay to get Lamar legit number one right away.
I thought they were going to go Juju all day.
Oh, nice kick in the nuts to Pittsburgh, too.
Well, it's the kick in the nuts. It's the familiarity. You know what this guy has done to you year in and year out, right? And there's legit. I mean, Juju, if he could stay off of friggin' TikTok and keep his mouth shut, he's still a top 10 wide receiver in the league.
Will Fuller is sitting out there. I think Will Fuller might. Controversial, whatever. Will Fuller might be the best one available. He had the best year out of all these guys last year. Kenny Galladay missed the whole damn year.
Listen, I'll tell you, he's probably the most talented, but he has no history of staying healthy. He has 1 year.
Yeah, he hit it on the right year. And basically, I told you weeks ago Tampa Bay was going to get James White. Tom gets what he wants, and he just took a $30 million pay cut over the next 2 years?
Yeah.
We'll get to Tom later. But, dude, what do you think the best fit for Juju is?
Honestly, I think it's the Ravens because you're going to be the clear-cut number one, right? You still have a great tight end. Their offensive line is still intact. I don't know what their defense is going to look like.
They added the guard too, Zeitler or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know what their defensive. Their defense is going to look like because they lost a lot of guys, but we knew that because they were in cap casualty purgatory, right? Like it is what it is. They couldn't sign all their guys back, but you got two legit running backs.
They can draft.
Yeah.
They draft like no other,
except for wide receiver, apparently.
I know that.
But other than that,
I know that
game really well. So, I mean, to me, it makes the most sense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens shock everybody to get Juju and Galladay. Could you imagine if they could somehow pull off both of them on the offensive side? Like, then Lamar Jackson's got no excuses, which I don't think he needs any because he hasn't had a legit wide receiver. I mean, when you bring Des Bryant out of retirement after 3 years.
Marquise Brown can't be your one. He just can't.
Well, he has dropsies. That's his whole
He's not
issue.
A number one receiver.
No, he drops the ball all the time. Watch the guy. Unfortunately,
look at they re-signed Derek Wolfe about an hour ago. 3 years, $12 million. They still got Brandon Williams in the middle. That Calais is still there. They re-signed Bowser. Patrick Queen had a great year last year.
Didn't I tell you how good he was going to be?
Yeah, Patrick Queen. I think their defense will be good enough, but Baltimore's things will be running the shit out of the ball and playing good defense. I think they're going to be okay. The receiver,
their offense has to evolve this year,
dude. The fact that it's almost day 3, well, granted, 6 hours away, and Kenny Galladay and Juju and Will Fuller.
Galladay, I'm telling you right now, Galladay is going to take Galladay is going to take a lesser contract than people think he's going to get because of his injury history. Juju has off-field issues with the TikTok and the mouth.
If he didn't have TikTok problems, he'd probably be in.
He'd have been gone. He'd have probably been the first wide receiver. He'd probably be in New England.
And Belichick always raves about Juju.
Yep.
Always. Every time they play Pittsburgh, he goes up there talking to him. You know what? They still got some fucking. Do not be surprised if one of these receivers is like, fuck it, I'm taking a 1-year contract.
Edelman's gone. If you sign Juju, Edelman's gone. He don't have a roster spot.
I don't think Edelman's roster spot's safe right now because we've been linked to Bateman from Minnesota in the draft for the second round since he's declared. He's like the prototypical guy. But all these guys have questions. You know who the safest receiver is? And it's going to sound ridiculous. It's fucking John Brown, who's the 4th-ranked receiver ahead of Antonio Brown out there right now because he's put up nothing but good numbers with Buffalo. I would have preferred to have him over Aguilar. I see what Bill's doing. Aguilar fits the receivers we've had because Kendrick Bourne's like a Brandon LaFell. He fits that role. Aguilar is like a stalwart with more speed.
Right. And better hands.
Aguilar's done a great job since leaving Philly on improving his ability to not drop the ball. He had a great year last year with his 1-year prove-it deal. That's why you do 1-year prove-it deals. You prove it, then you get paid.
Well, I mean, he had career high in yards.
He had more touchdowns receiving than our whole wide receiver core did last year.
Career high. I mean, well, when your quarterback only throws 8,
Stop.
I mean that. But listen, career. He had almost 896 yards receiving, right? 8 touchdowns. He did that all on 59 catches or 53 catches. I mean that's insane.
Guy too.
Yeah.
And I don't forget. Everybody needs to not forget how much these TV contracts are about to fucking explode here in the next 3 years. New England's projected to have $90 million in cap room next year because it's like McCourty's contract's up, Hightower's contract's up, Gilmore's they're going in the next year with these deals in tow.
They've already said next year it's going to go to around $208 million.
Yeah, that's insane. Up. If New England can, I think it's too early, but I don't think there's a chance in hell they don't make the playoffs this year. I
told you 7 spots, you make the playoffs.
They could have made it last year. They lost 5 games by 7 or less, but that's not the point. So even if you do get a Cam and he sucks and he doesn't make it, and you draft a guy and he needs a year to develop, you can go into next year, see, okay, if we feel this, and this, we're good. But if they end up with a Leonard Fournette or a Chris Carson, you pair him with Harris, maybe a James White comes back. I really do think he wants to go to Tampa.
Well, I think he wants to play with Brady. I think it's more James
it's a mutual
White
thing. Brady wants him there. He didn't have a pass catching back this year. Fournette was his best pass catching back. What's he, 250-pound guys should not be catching screen passes. So let's take a break from free agency really quick because we'll go right back into it. But it'd be disrespectful to not mention that Drew Brees did retire this week. 20 years, first ballot Hall of Famer. He's top 10 to me, not top 5. He needed to win another ring for me to even consider him top 5. So he's officially retired. What's his legacy to you?
I mean, taking the Aints to the Saints. I mean, that's legit.
Greatest free agent signing in history.
Without a doubt. I won't argue that. I mean,
the Miami Dolphins fucked that all up.
Well, Nick Saban fucked that all up.
Then he goes back to college.
Let's be realistic. He's like, hey, I got something against Miami. I'm going to go coach him for a year, fuck him real hard, and then I'm going to go back to Bama or go back to SEC, right? Listen, isn't it coincidental that Saban and Bill are buddy-buddy? And it's in the same division, and he screwed that organization for a decade? I mean, I'm kidding. I'm being a jerk. But
listen, we got to get Mac Jones.
I mean, I've already told you that's who you guys are going to draft at 15, but I really think you probably draft him at 10. You got to give up some draft capital. But Bill's terrible at drafting in the first round, and so it doesn't matter. You could give up 2 first-round picks to go get Mac Jones at 10 and not worry about it, right? Like, it's not going to be a big deal, right? Especially now that you guys are the new era New England Patriots who spend money in free agency. I mean, you got to have a quarterback. Quarterback has to be answered. And unless you get Jimmy Garoppolo or Deshaun Watson in this offseason, whatever quarterback you get is temporary unless you draft one, right? You can't win in this league without a franchise quarterback. Those days are over. There will never be another Ravens team where they have 5 or 6 first ballot Hall of Famers on the defense that carry them to a Super Bowl, and you can have a guy named Trent Dilfer who could throw for like 130 yards in the Super Bowl and win. You know what I mean? The Denver Broncos did it, but it was close, right? They had enough offense, and they had Peyton Manning, who was terrible in that game, but all the breaks, fell their way, and they won, right? So you got to have a franchise quarterback now. There's too many of them in the league right now. After this year, there's going to be maybe 1 to 2 organizations that don't have them, and you don't want to be one of those 2 because next year's draft does not look very friendly for quarterbacks. There's going to be one guy. There always is. But you're not going to have 6 legitimate starters, most likely, in the next year's draft, which there is this year. There's 6 guys that legitimately grade out to starters in the NFL.
It's very deep.
So if I'm New England, we did all this in free agency to get us a quarterback, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Bill trades 4 picks this year, like first, second, third, and fourth, and 2 first rounders in the years to come to go up maybe to 3 or something crazy, and get Zach Wilson or Justin. I mean, he needs a franchise quarterback.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to go get Trevor.
If they somehow pull that off, I mean, Trevor starts. I don't see a way where he loses to Cam Newton
Urban has a tendency to do dumb shit.
I mean, I agree, but I don't know if he does that dumb stuff.
Well, he can probably still get his boy Fields at 15, or he could trade back up because he has 3 picks in the top 35. He can move wherever the fuck he feels.
I haven't seen Justin drop past 7.
He shouldn't drop past 4 if Atlanta has a brain in their head.
No,
but
I mean, yeah, I don't know how he gets past Atlanta.
The Georgia kid he can sit a year right behind Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is like a clean cut here soon, or he's going to save him a ton of money. And you can move on with Justin Fields and Calvin Ridley when Julio and Matt Ryan go away. But Atlanta also doesn't do smart shit all the time. Drew Brees, first ballot Hall of Famer. My legacy with you is what could have been, because you probably could have won a lot more. For some reason, you could never get over the hump. You went to the NFC, you avoided Brady and Manning and Ben and all these guys, and you still couldn't do it, even though you have Rodgers who never won.
Him being cut by the Chargers was a huge savior for his career.
Because a lot, and they retire the same year.
Because my thing is while he's better than Phillip Rivers, right? He's not that much better. I'm sorry, he's not. If you look at Phillip Rivers' numbers, he's not that much better than Phillip Rivers. He just has a lot of yards. But Phillip Rivers, I mean, he's got better numbers than Dan Marino, but people don't want to talk about that, right? Like, you pull it up, because I did. I looked at it. So, I mean, Phillip Rivers is a historically great quarterback who just played in the AFC with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, and it just sucked for him. You know what I mean? And Drew Brees' career was saved by the fact that he went to the NFC. So,
a couple interesting moves. Miami just gave Malcolm Brown a pretty nice contract, mate.
I mean, I thought we expected Malcolm Brown to get a decent contract.
If that's Miami starter, I feel a lot better about Miami not taking the next step. The Chiefs released Damian Williams.
Well, I mean, they just paid Tooney all that damn money. No, Tooney, right?
Yeah, that was – we'll get to that because we're going to grade some moves here soon. But before we get to that, so segueing from Breeze. So apparently their plan's in place. They gave Taysom Hill this weird phantom contract, which made me about shit myself when I saw it go across the line. But it's really just an interesting way to clear up cap space going forward. It's literally a 1-year, $10 million contract. If he comes out and plays lights out, they have him for $35 million the next 3 years.
But he's not getting any of that money.
No, he's not. But they did use some of that money they saved, and they went out and re-signed Winston this year. Who do you think starts for them next year?
I mean, to me, it was embarrassing that Taysom Hill started those games when Drew Brees was hurt.
I agree. That's not a Sean Payton offense. That had to kill him that he could only run 5 plays.
I mean, for whatever you want to say about Jameis Winston, the guy threw 30 touchdowns. I understand that he threw 30 interceptions, but the guy is talented. He had a year behind Drew Brees. I don't see how Jameis Winston loses that competition unless Sean Payton just likes Taysom Hill better, right? Like, it's a personality thing.
Taysom Hill.
Because Taysom Hill is not anywhere near the same class of quarterback that Jameis Winston is. Let's just be realistic.
And Winston's young.
He's young. He's talented. He's got a very strong arm. He just needs to fix the decision making, right? And that's
when
easier.
Sean Payton comes
That's
in.
easier said than done. But if you're an offensive guru, if you're, the original Sean McVay and Sean Payton, right? Everybody thinks you're an offensive genius. Then you figure out a play system that works for Jameis Winston, and you win with him because he's talented. I dare say he's more talented than Drew Brees. He just doesn't have the intangibles that Drew Brees had, right? I mean, let's be realistic. Jameis Winston is a freak of nature. He's a big dude. He's like a Big Ben style. You know what I mean? He's a bigger guy. He's got a rocket arm. He can extend plays. He can make all the throws. You just got to get his decision making under control. But we made the joke about the LASIK. He had LASIK surgery, and maybe that was the issue. It couldn't have hurt. Right?
I was going to say,
have better eyes. It can't
hurt his ability at all.
So, I mean, I cannot foresee a situation where Jameis Winston is not the starter, but
you can use Taysom everywhere, though. Still, right? You can just plug him in, have him do his thing, and it'll work the same way with Brees. You just have to go all in with Jameis.
Yep. You got to give him that confidence, right?
Yeah.
You got to give him. It's your job to lose Jameis. It's not an open competition. You're our starting quarterback.
Well, look at all the Saints have lost. I mean, this team's going to be depleted by the time they're done cutting salary cap space. I mean, hell, they cut Alexander. They cut Emmanuel. They've cleared out, 6 to 8 people already to get under the cap. Jameis, This is your opportunity, man. I hope. Taysom Hill, I think we kind of seen what his ceiling was. David Jones, Jameis is uncoordinated to the point of embarrassment until someone works on his feet. That's what Sean brought him in. That would be his job. I feel like full off season, second year in the system, Jameis is going to be your best bet out of those two. The Saints have shown interest in Mitchell Trubisky, though, as well. So, David.
Oh, stop. David, I pray to God for you that they do not bring Mitchell Trubisky in to screw up your quarterback room. I pray to God for your
Mitchell Trubisky
your sake.
And it was Tyrod Taylor, but he's gone now. So, yeah, there you go.
So they're looking for another backup because they realized last year.
I expect Chase Daniel to be back there. He's going to be cut by Detroit, and he's been in New Orleans 8 times already. So he's the one they're going to bring back, I bet.
And Chase McDaniel coming off the bench is dangerous, man. You see him, he is dangerous. But as a
$20 million guaranteed from fucking Detroit.
As a starter, though, Dave, you really want Trubisky? You think he's the answer?
I don't think he's the answer. I think if you put Mitch in the right situation, he won't be a liability. But I'm not.
We're talking about Jameis decision making, and then you want to bring Trubisky in. What's his knock? His decision making.
It depends where he goes. If he's coached right, we'll see. All right. So me and Alex are going to break down all the other huge moves that have been made. But before that, check out. What do we want to check out today? Check out everywhere to find the buzz on social media.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now.
Mitch was the one balling against us in the playoff game. Mitch's whole career could have changed if Parkey would have made that kick. Lord only knows. If they would have won another playoff game, who knows what would have happened. All right, Alex. There's been a lot of other moves. We change on this. There we go. Boom. All right. So Leonard Williams got a huge deal today. 3 years, $63 million. They tagged him, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't really have no bitching there. They're easily their best lineman. They traded for him. You had to pay him. Tampa Bay, we'll talk about them. Godwin's back on the franchise tag. Barrett got 4 years, 72. They re-signed Gronk. They're negotiating with James White. They re-signed Levante David. I would assume Antonio Brown's going to come back. So Tampa looks like they're
I don't know
reloading.
how they work this, man.
Brady.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I mean, when they franchise tagged Godwin, I was like, oh, terrible mistake. I would have used my franchise tag on Shaquille or, you know what I mean? Like one of those defensive guys, because you couldn't lose them both, right? And I thought they lose both when they franchised Godwin. 100%. I'm telling you.
They're also reportedly very close to re-signing Sue as well. So
I was envisioning Shaquille Barrett or David in a Browns jersey. I mean, that legit. I was like ecstatic, right? I thought, man, they franchised the wrong damn guy, but I mean, they made it work. It's the Brady effect. You're right. I mean, I saw a meme, which is true, right? Well, a statement essentially. When do we stop calling this the New England way and we start calling this the Brady way? Guys want to play with Brady. Guys in the league realize this guy is the GOAT. There's nobody like him in the league. That includes Patrick Mahomes for all you Patrick Mahomes fanboys. There's nobody in the league like this guy. Guys want to play with him. He's a true ultimate alpha without being overbearing, right? Like the guy just, I don't know what it is. He knows how to communicate with people in a way that just, it works, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tampa's ready to roll. I hope sometime before Brady or Belichick are gone, we get a Brady versus Belichick Super Bowl and just smash every rating in the world. And
oh yeah, listen, if somehow Tampa Bay and New England played this year in the Super Bowl, holy smokes. I wouldn't miss a minute of it. I don't care if it's a blowout. I wouldn't miss a minute of it.
all right.
Oh, I thought you froze on me. You were quiet
No,
for a while.
man. People don't think. All right, Bud Dupree. This deal shocked me, especially coming off a torn ACL. $16.5 million per season with Tennessee. So they are up and over the Clowney deal. What do you think? I think this is a huge overpay, and I think they're going to regret this one. What do you think about the Bud Dupree $16.5 million per year deal with Tennessee?
I mean, I would have loved to have him in Cleveland, but not at $16.5 million. I thought his limit was 13. I mean, I thought that was his ceiling. Yeah, I mean, they overpaid. Sure. I mean, they overpaid for Clowney. What did he really do in the grand scheme of things for them? He sure as hell didn't equate to a playoff win to a team that they beat the year before as the wild card at their house.
IR. He was on IR like halfway through the damn year.
Right.
That was a hell of a contract. And they lost Corey Davis. They lose Jonnu Smith. Tennessee's about to take a huge step back. I'm sorry. They are. Ryan Tannehill, he's played great. You can only milk a horse so damn much for it runs out of milk. Ryan Tannehill is not getting younger. They lost Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith. They're going to ride Derrick Henry to the damn wheel. They need another running back. They really need.
I'm telling you, I don't know how the man has lasted this long. I have no clue.
They're going to run Derrick Henry dry. But, I think New England plays them this year, so make sure they run them dry before that game happens. Andy Dalton to Chicago to battle Nick Foles for the starting quarterback gig, Alex. So how do you see this ending up? That's horrible. If I was a Bears fan, I wouldn't even watch next year.
Listen, Andy Dalton. So here's the deal. People, when the Cowboys signed Andy Dalton last year, were like, oh, he's like a poor man's version of Dak. We'll be fine. If we don't get Dak back, we'll be good. And I was like, you guys are idiots.
He's a good backup, but I do not want
Andy
him
Dalton.
starting.
Great years were wasted in Cincinnati, where they couldn't get it together. They couldn't protect him. They couldn't figure it out in free agency. And I felt bad for him because then you look, right? Joe Burrow comes in, they figure it out in free agency, they somehow seem to get it together, and then Burrow gets hurt, right? Because I think Cincinnati would have been very competitive just with adding Burrow and the free agents that they added last year. I'm excited to see what Burrow does. I was wrong about him, admittedly. I told you I couldn't understand how the guy couldn't get off a third string at Ohio
That was
State.
one of the few things I was right about last year, so I'll take it.
100%. You were right. 100%. I was right about everything else. You were right about this. So
I'll take my one.
listen, it's an exciting time to be an AFC North fan because your teams are, unless you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, because they're going to. You want to talk about a huge step back? They lost Bud Dupree. They're losing their best wide receiver, arguably. Right? We can. There's some wiggle room there because old boy is really Claypool is really freaking good. But
I don't think Schuster's going to be as big of a loss as people think. They do got Claypool. They got James Washington.
Oh, they got Johnson too, right? No,
DeAndre Johnson was one of their probably been their best receiver last year. And to Bakley's point, the Bengals had a good few days. Trey Hendrickson was a big get, even though they did lose Carl Lawson, but he's cheaper and he's younger. A Woozy from Dallas, Mike Hilton from Pittsburgh gives them 2 corners to replace William Jackson, who apparently wants to break the damn bank. You guys brought in McKinley and Johnson. The Steelers, they brought in a backup tackle. They re-signed Ray McLeod, another backup lineman, and a backup corner. They still don't have no money. Ben's on the decline. I honestly, to God, think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be last in the AFC North this year. I really do. I think the Bengals can make a jump to at least be 7-9, assuming Burrow's healthy and all that kind of shit. Dude, you know what's crazy about free agency? We're talking all these guys. We haven't talked T-Wise out there, a veteran that could help a contender. A.J. Green, going to like a Green Bay or a Seattle or somewhere like that to kind of help give them some depth. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of good players available. We're only 2 days in. Like, there's big washed-up players. I mean, look at the Texans. The Texans have signed 14 people, 12 of them to a 1-year deal. They're just trying to fill the damn roster.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Same with the damn Jaguars, but everybody – I don't know what your boy's doing out there, but that's a different topic. Joe Tooney to Kansas City. What do you think of that deal?
I think they overpaid for him because they I don't know how they let those guys walk in free agency. Now, if they figure a way to bring him. But that's what I mean, cut him. I apologize.
They cut both tackles after their quarterback just gets massacred in the Super Bowl.
Without him.
Yeah.
The difference in the game.
And they sign a guard.
Right.
Everybody's like, Joe Tooney. Joe Tooney is probably the best guard in football.
Listen, he's a stud. I'm not arguing with you about
He'll hold the left guard spot down. Your
Right.
center is a free agent. I think Bakley brought up the point. Their other guard that plays tackles back, he plays right guard primarily. So, okay, slide him at right guard. They have a 3rd-round pick from last year who sat out because of COVID. Okay, let's just, for argument's sake, say the Chiefs give him the right tackle spot. So, okay, so you're solidified with 3 spots. You don't have a left tackle. Do you want to trust a rookie? Everybody's like, this draft's super deep in tackles. Hey, Alex, how many times has a rookie left tackle that's a 50-50 risky.
It worked out for us last year, and I can't remember another one working out in recent history.
Like and you have your $500 million guy. Bakley, I don't care if he moves back to tackle or not. The guy's been a year out of football. He's older. His primary position's guard. He's going to get destroyed. I hope that he is the left tackle because then Mahomes is going to make it a full year. Unless they run the shit out of the ball, which Andy Reid won't do because he likes watching Mahomes do cartwheels and handstands while he throws the ball too much. I don't know what they're doing. The Damian Williams, if we lose James White, which I think we will, I want New England to go give Damian Williams a 1-year, like $5 million deal. That dude can catch the ball in the backfield and break some ankles. He's going to be missed because Le'Veon's a free agent. I know they got Darrell Williams, I think, but they don't have. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not a 30 carry a game back like they think he is. He's a small guy. I think Kansas City is going to be like, I know it's still early and they can make more moves. I think
They'll still win 11 to 12 games, though, because Patrick Mahomes is that good.
I don't know how good he's going to be when he's getting hit. I just saw how good he is when his offensive line isn't very good.
Right, but I mean, that's when you're playing with backups, right? I mean, I think they probably figure out a way to bring Fisher back, right? I mean, he's not signed yet. I mean,
Marcus, God, dude. So they're projecting Martinez Rankin at left tackle, Tooney. I mean, that Austin Reeder's a free agent. Mike Rimmers is projected right tackle. He's coming off injury. And the Tardif guy, they have him playing right guard. So, it's going to be nice seeing him limp around for another year. But anyway, let's get to more signings. Is there any signing that's like, let me use my other banners for something. Are there any signings that kind of shocked you? Like, hey, what the hell is this team doing? Because I think the Chargers giving Corey Linsley $63 million to play center was a tad bit of an overpay.
I mean, he's the best rated center in football, or top 3, I'm sorry, but it's a lot of money.
That's
right?
a lot. Granted, 26 of it's over the first 2, so then after that it's 3 for 36.
But I know, listen, so my opinion differs from a lot of guys on this, right? I think left tackle, while he's protecting your line side, I think center is the most important position on the offensive line. Period. Point blank.
He's a Patriots fan.
End of subject.
About why have we not brought back David Andrews yet? We do not need turnover at the center spot. We need a
Right.
Andrews played with Cam last year. We need continuity at center. What is the most important position on the football field? Everybody says it's quarterback. To a point, if he don't get the fucking ball, he can't be very important, can he? Center is very important.
Let's talk about.
But I'm not giving one $63 million.
Right. I mean, let's talk about Peyton Manning, as great as he was. He had, in my opinion, one of the most underrated centers of all time.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, probably top 5, but nobody gives him the credit. If you look at rankings for him, he's in the top 15, but not top 5. The guy was Peyton Manning at the center position. I mean, if you look, he's calling out while Peyton is changing the play. He's calling out line adjustments at the same time. It just gets overlooked because Peyton Manning is the quarterback, right? But Jeff was an extension of Peyton, right? He was that good. He was that smart. If you watch the guy when he does analyst work and he's talking, he's very intelligent. The guy's a genius about football, right? And so I understand left tackle is a dangerous position if you don't have one. But to me, the center is your quarterback of your offensive line. He's that important. He's the most important, in my opinion. That's always been my opinion. Everybody argues with me, but if you look at great teams, they've always had a great center.
Well, Emmanuel Sanders just signed
with
Buffalo. So there's
I mean, that's an upgrade over John Brown.
I don't know if that's an upgrade. He was terrible last year.
He was terrible. Why though? Drew Brees was terrible last year. Let's be realistic.
Let's not get this Josh Allen stuff starting. Save that material for later. Drew Brees underthrowing him the ball, then you have Josh Allen throwing it into the stands. It kind of balances it out. But anyway,
I mean,
I remember the first play.
I don't know if you remember, but Josh Allen was
had one good year in 30 years, and next year they'll be 7-9 in third place again.
The guy was number 2 in MVP voting.
That doesn't mean anything.
It does mean something. Like for him to be competitive with Aaron Rodgers and MVP, I understand you hate Buffalo. I get it. You're a New England Patriots fan. But Josh Allen is the future of your division. It's just a sad fact for you. I get it. You had the best quarterback in the NFL, let alone your division, for 20 years. I understand. You're salty about that because there wasn't a backup plan.
I'm not salty about anything.
You are.
I'm not. I'm not allowed
You
to eat
hate-
salt. My doctor
You
said.
have you have unhealthy hate for Josh Allen. You can respect the guy even though you hate the team.
I don't.
The-
There's a thing about guys named Josh I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably because you look in the mirror every day. But I wouldn't like that guy either. No, listen, they are.
It's going to be interesting. This gap just considerably closed.
Oh, listen, you guys did everything possible besides getting a quarterback answer that you could. I mean, you have closed the gap 100%, but you're still not winning the division.
We'll
You
see.
still
It's
got to
not
get
over
past
yet.
Miami and Buffalo.
We still got the draft. We got time.
I agree, but you don't think Buffalo's been drafting really well?
Buffalo ain't gonna listen. Buffalo is Buffalo. They do.
It's not the same
they
Bills,
are-
man. It's
yes,
not
they
the.
are. They shouldn't have beat the Colts. The Colts handed them that game first off, and then he went in and choked in the second round like he always does. But anyway, let's segue to back to free agency. We'll talk about most overrated players in fantasy at some other point where he'll be at the very top of my list.
Oh, you're bananas. The numbers bear out that he's a top 5 fantasy guy. Like, you're nuts.
Listen. So who you got signing next? We got the receivers. We have a shit ton of them. The running backs I haven't really signed. Fournette's still out there. Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake.
Why would I sign any one of those guys and overpay at that position? Listen, if Todd Gurley and
He's out there too, isn't he?
Listen, yeah, but if Todd Gurley and oh my God, why am I brain farting? Ezekiel Elliott are not cautionary tales at the running back position. You have.
I don't think anybody's going to get a multi-year, maybe a.
Well, what I'm saying is you haven't paid attention, right? Those guys are going to demand $5 or $6 million a year at least, right? That's just what the market, right? Why would I get one of those guys when there's 10 or 12 running backs in the draft this year? Like I told you, Trey Sermon is projected as a 5th round pick. The guy's a starting running back in the NFL, and he's a 5th round projected pick. Like, it's just you don't need to pay these guys anymore. You're going to get to a point where running backs get one contract after their rookie deal, and then that's it. They're just done in the NFL. It's going to be the shortest span, unless you're a James White type of guy. I'll give your guy some credit. Unless you're that type of guy who offers more than just a running back, doesn't take big hits, doesn't carry big loads. He's a third down specialist, a receiving specialist out of the backfield. Unless you're a guy like that, you're not getting big contract. You're not getting a second contract after your rookie deal. You're going to get rookie deal, one contract, and then you're done. So maybe 7 to 8 years is maximum you're going to get out of running backs anymore. It's just the position is crucial, but you can find so many guys that can run the ball. If you got a good offensive line and they get 2 to 3 yards, I mean, they're going to have good numbers. So you don't need superstars at running back anymore. I foresee you're going to see a slump in running backs in college because why would I play that position? You're going to see how the NFL's trending,
Who's
right?
the guy? So the Clemson kid is like the top one coming out this year, right?
Oh,
Eterine, whatever the hell his name is. It's like
ITN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know he's tail end of the first. New England's going to sign one of these guys. It looks like because they have injury concerns.
Yeah, I feel like they'll give Fournette a deal because Fournette deserves it.
Well, Fournette and Carson are the two. Carson's apparent report. That's what I was looking up. Carson's reportedly their backup plan. Fournette is the guy they want to go get.
Right. To me, Carson is what he is. He's not healthy enough. I wouldn't give him a lot of money. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in him.
He's a good backup. But like Sony Michel, that's a guy we can move off of too. He's going into the 5th year to where we're not going to.
This is a team I want to talk about more than anything is Seattle.
Dude, they have done nothing.
Nothing.
Let me actually pull up what moves they.
I already pulled it up. They re-signed one guy, and it wasn't an offensive lineman.
Dude, they lost their best corner. Griffin
Right.
went to Jacksonville.
Yep. Now. That's another thing.
I think Russell Wilson's watching the fact that the Chiefs have no fucking money. They all restructure their contracts, and they go out and get him the best guard in free agency. And New England goes out and gets a really good left tackle for pennies on the dollar. Hell, Kelvin Beachum has got a pretty nice extension with the. I mean, all these teams are going out. I know the report came out where Russell's not getting traded this year, and I didn't think he was getting traded anyways. But they're not doing anything to help the guy out unless they're going to go get a Rodney Hudson or a David Andrews, or they're going to go and trade for Baltimore, Orlando Brown. He wants to play left tackle more than anything in his life. Unless they go give up a draft pick for him, I don't know what Seattle's going to do on the line. They're running out of options. Yes, I know it's a deep draft, but like you said with rookies, we got you the best rookie left.
You're going to draft three offensive linemen?
Dude,
that's what they need.
I think I did the math a few weeks ago. I think they drafted like 35 linemen since Russell Wilson's been there, and 2 of them are still on the roster.
Yep.
So drafting, they need to go.
They need 3 offensive linemen. By my account, they need 3.
Brought up this guy. Where the hell does Trent Williams go? He's like the prize right now. He's a lot of people's ranked top free agent available.
I mean, if Seattle could pull that off, that should make
They said that bid is high, right? They're talking about mid-25.
Yeah, but you could backload his deal just like every other guy has done. You could give him a 7-year contract with 3 years voidable, like all these other. I mean, to me, to be honest with you, I'm amazed that the NFL has not stepped in and put a stop to these voidable years. To me, it's like a way to cheat the damn salary cap, right?
Was nuts, dude, because they can legit just shave $35 million off every damn.
Well, who was the other guy that got the 2? Dak. Yeah. That's a huge deal, and it made it 6 years to knock the cap hit down to 22, which is a huge break for Dallas. It gives them cap room, right? Like, I just – if I'm Seattle, I call up him and say, do you want to block for, top 3 quarterback, top 4 quarterback in NFL, whatever your opinion is. We'll pay you your money, but we'll backload your deal because we all know salary cap's going up 25 to 30K next year. So they'll have the money next year. So, hey, we'll give you a huge signing bonus. Let's get your cap number reasonable, right, for this year. And then we'll pay you the money on the back end, right? We'll restructure your deal after next year or what, you know what I mean?
If I'm the Colts, this is the guy I'm getting. They have $60-something million. They haven't done shit with it except put Pascal a second round tender.
But I mean,
they need a left tackle.
Do they seriously? I mean,
their left tackle retired. Cut.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. So, yeah, I mean, Colts. Maybe they have the highest bid. Maybe they got the highest bid.
I'll give him 2 years, $50 million, $40 guaranteed. That averages out to $20 a year, and give him 10 in incentives if he plays every fucking game. If he plays every game, he's going to be great.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so happy to not be in the market for offensive linemen. It's so nice as a Browns fan to realize that we have a top 3 rated offensive line, and we're bringing everybody back, and we got our stud left tackle on a rookie deal still. Like, that's huge, man.
The Trent Brown deal made me feel good. Tooney leaving, but we've been planning for this for 2 years.
You knew Tooney was gone. You weren't going to pay him that type of money.
The kid from Michigan's going to slide to left guard.
Well, he played really well last year.
He was the highest rated rookie.
That's why he played really well.
You throw him inside. You got Trent Brown back. You still got Shaq Mason, who's a very good damn guard. People forget about how good that guy is. It'd be interesting because I think our line was 6th last year ranked. So out of all the things that we were shitty about.
So if Trent Williams gets 25, that'll be the highest overpaid.
That's where they're saying that they're at. Because
he'll be the most overpaid.
The 49ers are in on it.
That'll be the worst deal of the offseason. I don't care how great he plays. $25 million, quarterback money. No. Left tackles are not worth it.
4 years, $80 million has been offered as of an hour ago by the 49ers.
That's $20 million a year.
Yep.
How much is that is guaranteed?
So other team, the 49ers will offer 4 years, $80 million. No other details right now. The issues, the Colts, who have a ton more cap space, San Francisco is going to have to get creative with this money or offer damn near all of it guaranteed for this to work. Colts willing to go to 25 to 30 to land Williams.
I mean, they got the cap space, I guess.
The Colts have a Super Bowl roster. If they can add another receiver, maybe another pass rusher, because if they re-sign
Carson Wentz as their quarterback,
I'm assuming Wright gets that shit back on track.
Right, you assume he's 95% of what he was in the MVP year, right? Well, the should have been MVP year before he got hurt.
Phillip Rivers wasn't great, and the Colts damn near beat Buffalo.
I agree with you. Listen,
I think
Phillip Rivers wasn't bad though. Don't.
No, he wasn't bad, but I think Wentz is going to be better than he was.
Phillip Rivers was efficient enough. Let's go with that. He wasn't good, or he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad, right?
No, he was bad.
He was good enough.
But you could tell his arm at the end was like, all right, this poor guy, like him and Breeze both. It's just they both end on the same year. Both their arms were gone because they were gunslingers. They launched that shit around for 20 years.
Doesn't that further prove that Tom Brady is the GOAT?
It further proves that Tom Brady knows how to take care of himself.
But doesn't that further prove he's the GOAT? He's older than both of them. And still outperforming both of them.
It shows that your performance on the field is determined by how you take care of yourself off the field just as much as what you do. And he takes care of it. It's got TB12. He takes all that Guerrero guy that
it's just like him and LeBron, I think, are the two athletes that pay the most to take care of their bodies. Over $1 million a year, right?
Russell Wilson just came out.
He's in there too. He's in that same.
About $1 million a year he's using.
Yeah, so apparently it's worth it. You might be spending that type of money, but if you could play for 22 years in the NFL at a quarterback position, making that type of money, it's well worth that $1 million a year.
Yeah. We're 2 days in. That's it.
Well, the problem is you selfish a-holes in New England took most of the good free agents off the market. We got 5 guys left that are really big splash name guys. But in the end of the day, right, the interior linemen on defense and offense, those are the guys that make your team, and they're not big flashy. A lot of them are not big flashy names. So those will be the deals we'll look back on this free agency and be like, damn, that was a steal. They got that guy for that.
That's what's funny, because New England signs all these guys. I'm like, damn, that defensive tackle from Miami is going to be a nasty addition to that.
Yep.
I'm like, shit. I was really happy Weiss came back. Everybody's like, he got overpaid. It's like he can play he plays all over the damn line. Some cuts before we wrap it up. Adoree Jackson got cut by Tennessee. He's an electric returner, a pretty solid corner. They say $10.5 million. He'll land somewhere.
Sure, he's going to get money. He'll get paid.
Steelers cut Vance Williams. The Lions cut Danny Shelton. If New England can't get Lawrence Guy back, they'll probably bring back Danny Shelton, who they had for a few years there. Dennis Kelly got cut, right tackle from Tennessee.
You said the Steelers cut Vance?
Vince Williams got cut. Damian Williams, as we said, from Chiefs running back. Rodney Hudson. I don't really know how to explain why they cut him. He's more of a dead cap than he saves $1.5 million, and he is a $5 million hit.
That's Williams?
No, Rodney Hudson, the center.
Oh, Hudson, the center.
I don't know what Oakland's do, or Vegas, whatever the fuck. And the Falcons have restructured Matt Ryan's contract for the 4th time since March of 19. It clears out $14 million of cap space, but it increases his cap figure to 40.5 next year and 48.6 dead cap hit in 2023. Maybe they don't take a quarterback at 4. Do you want to pay Matt Ryan $50 million to play somewhere else or be the
backup? But what's his dead cap hit if they trade him? Because it's probably half that.
I'm sure that's not pulled up. That's probably not available yet. He just restructured within the hour.
Oh, he just restructured it.
He restructured today.
Okay.
3 hours ago, it says.
Let me see. I got to go to my trusty website here.
Yeah, I agree. The analyst here on Twitter said this definitely impacts the possibilities of them not taking a court. That 4th spot, I'm telling you, dude, there's 3 the Jets are not going to negotiate. We'll end the show with how we started it. New England, the Jets are not going to trade with New England at 2 because New England will go snag Zach Wilson from the Jets. Unless the Jets are hell-bent with Sam Darnold and they think New England, they just want to take New England's all their picks. But I don't see them negotiating with each other. 3, let me pull up the draft so I don't give out wrong information. But now 4, Atlanta's a trade possibility. There's no way in hell Miami's going to trade with New England so they can get their future quarterback. So Atlanta is a possibility for New England to go up and grab. So you have to assume what? Trevor and Zach Wilson's gone. If New England loves Trey Lance that much to go up to 4, Atlanta might be a trading partner now, right? Because they might not take Justin Fields. They could accumulate some picks, maybe take a Kyle Trask in the second round, wait till next year and take another guy.
Well, I mean, also, too, they need help on defense. And now that you guys signed, 2 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles, you got all these guys coming back from pre-COVID. I mean, you got some extra pieces on defense that you could trade with your picks.
Yeah.
If you get to 4, man, I mean,
Trevor and Zach Wilson would be the only 2 that's probably off the board. And Zach Wilson, if the Jets stick with Darnold, will be sitting there at 4. The Dolphins aren't going to take it.
I'm just confused about this in love with Zach Wilson all of a sudden. He played for BYU, who played the weak-ass Pac-12. It doesn't make sense. I mean, are you penalizing Justin Fields because he only played 7 games, but he happened to play against 2 of the best defenses in college football, if not the 2 best defenses in college football, and he shredded one of them?
Ideally, we're trading with 7 to go get Mac, or 10 with Dallas.
No, I mean, Justin Fields is probably available at 7.
I want Mac Jones. He fits.
If you don't think Justin Fields is a better prospect than Mac Jones, you're nuts.
He's a better fit.
Fit? We're talking about fit. We're not talking about talent. Like, who's the better quarterback overall? Justin Fields.
I don't want to end this with my hot take because I think the most successful quarterback that's going to come out of this draft is going to be Mac Jones.
Well, he's going to go to the best team probably out of all the, think about all the teams that are drafting high that are going to take quarterbacks. Most of them are turd organizations, right?
I understand that, but if I was doing a board of my top 5, he'd be second after Trevor. Your boy would be 4th.
It just doesn't make sense to me. He's playing with 2 guys that are probably going to be drafted top 10 at wide receiver.
I get that, but
he's got 5-star guys all over the place, dude. And I get it.
Fields had great talent too.
Do what?
Fields had good talent when he was at Ohio State. Trevor had great talent.
I'm not
Zach
arguing
Wilson
with
probably
you
had
there.
the least amount of talent, and he's still. I'm with you. I don't know why he's so I don't know why he jumped to 2 all of a sudden. I do not know why he's ahead of Justin.
At BYU, I just don't get it. It just. If it hasn't been proven,
he's a tall guy. He's accurate. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's mobile enough. We don't like running quarterbacks outside of Cam, but that was kind of a 1-year thing, and here we are again. But typically, we like big, prototypical guys who can stand in there, make all the throws, short routes. He can even throw the deep ball. I just think he's a better fit.
I think the only thing that's helping Mac is, I think it was Smith that came out and said that, Tua Tagovailoa or Jones, and he said Jones.
Yes,
not even a question.
Who was the other receiver that came out last year? He said the same thing. He's had a couple.
Yeah, not even a question, though. It wasn't like it's close, but I'm going to go with Mac. It was without a doubt Mac is a better quarterback, which I was like, wow. How does Miami feel right now?
Dude, yeah. A lot. 3 receivers have came out and said Mac. I mean, kid can ball. No, it's not the Josh Allen. Stop. Josh Allen affect my ass. It only took him 7 years to be good. All right. Anyway, what's he in his 5th year now? And he's had a
He's
breakout
not.
year. Took
He's
him
not
longer.
in his 5th year.
What is
Number
he?
one. He's in his 4th year.
It took him long enough. How
In
many
his
more?
2nd and 3rd year, he had awesome year. His rookie year, he wasn't bad. Like, stop, dude.
50, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks, 50% completion percentage, 58 complete. This is going into his 4th. Let's see him do it again. He's had 2 years that were, and he's had one great year.
Who was he throwing the ball to?
I don't want to hear. You guys are ripping fucking Cam, and he's throwing the ball to people that I used to help. Dude, some of those
Cam,
receivers,
I understand what you're saying, but Cam Newton is not a 4th year quarterback. Josh Allen doesn't have a major structural issue with his throwing shoulder.
But he has a major
These are my
structural
issues
issue.
with Cam. I like Cam. I was a big fan of Cam. I remember what I told you last year when they signed Cam. This is your answer at quarterback. And then I watched him on the field. I understand he didn't have OTAs. He didn't have offseason. But you had rookie quarterbacks that didn't have OTAs, didn't have offseason, and didn't have as bad a year as Cam Newton. Like, let's be realistic. I understand that's your team. That's your quarterback. You're going to ride or die for him. I understand that. But Cam is not the answer. I don't care what you fix another year in the system. You change the system for him. Why would you change what has been successful for 21 years? You need another quarterback. You need a quarterback that fits your system. So I'm giving you your Mac Jones argument right there, right? He fits your system, right? So that's your argument right there. Like, I kind of defeated my own argument why you wouldn't take Justin Fields, but I can't imagine Justin Fields falling past 7.
That's because you'd get too much damn satisfaction watching me draft an Ohio State fucking quarterback. And my loyalty, I'd be wearing the damn.
Be wearing Justin Fields, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm wearing Cam right now.
Listen, and if the guy happened to win you a Super Bowl, oh my Lord.
Don't even want to think about
The
it.
debate would go on for years, right? So listen, like I said, I'm a fan of Cam. I told you last year I thought he was the answer, but I saw him. He's not. There's a reason why they let him go, and they put in freaking Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, come on. Teddy wasn't great last year in Carolina, right? So why would you let go of a former MVP, one of the most recognizable faces for your franchise, if he wasn't done? There's a reason. Like I told you, I like Cam. I wanted Cam to be successful. Not in New England, but I wanted him to be successful, right? But that was the cards he was dealt, but the cupboard was bare. I agree with you, right? So let's see if better wide receivers, better tight end. But I think that's a product of having Cam Newton as your quarterback. That's why Bill has been so aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, which he's typically not, right? Because he's got Cam as his quarterback. He knows he needs to help Cam out. Where Cam is at, he needs to help him out. He needs to give him weapons to help him out because he loves Cam's intangibles. Cam's a good locker room guy. All those arguments that everybody had to talk about Cam are done. Because if Bill signs off on you, you're a team and a locker room guy. That he gets rid of guys that don't fit, right? I think that's why Juju Smith is not there because he's not a locker room guy. He's not a leader. Cam is a leader. I've always liked him. It just I feel like he's done, and it's nothing. It's not his fault, which sucks, right? It's not like he's 38 years old and he got a full career. He got robbed by that injury. It is what it is. Like, you guys can be successful in spite of him. That's what I think, right? The system and your defense will carry you. It won't be Cam.
Well, you can tell the way Bill's spending money, they're planning for either or.
Right. I mean, you could get Cam. If Cam has 20 touchdowns this year and less than 10 interceptions, that's a successful year for him. I think that's his ceiling now. It sucks, man, because I would love to see not MVP Cam, but give me 85% of MVP Cam, right? Like, give me that. That's something I'm excited. I want to see. That's exciting, man. When he was at his best, he was exciting. But I mean, it's a dangerous game they play. You know what I mean? Alex Smith has almost died twice, right? Like, I mean, from a hit. So it is what it is.
He's
You know
also
what I mean?
a free agent talking about he wants the starting job. I got
Yeah.
there's insane.
I already told you, man. It should have been a crime that he was allowed to play last year. Sometimes you have to save people from themselves, and I think NFL as a whole has made a decision because Alex Smith is one of the better he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's better than Andy Dalton, but you can't take that chance. You don't want to be the team that has him on the field when he is now in a wheelchair because he was playing football. You cannot tell me that leg and his body is fully healed. There's no chance. It's weakened. He's going to take one bad hit, and he'll never walk again.
Like 3 times what a normal person is, too.
Or he'll never walk again, right? I mean, that's the truth.
I think he'll end up retiring.
He's playing with his life right now. That's the truth. He's playing with his health and his life. And he's made a lot of money, so there's no reason for it. It's just insanity at this point. No offense to the Alex Smith fans, but I think it's nuts.
Well, what is nuts is this is 2 days in, and we have a lot of stuff to happen.
I can't wait for next Tuesday because
we have another week in between. We might see some trades, some
listen, if Deshaun Watson gets traded, I think it's this week.
I agree.
Because they're getting too close now. They're playing money. Yep. They're playing chicken, and Deshaun is winning right now because all these people are spending. And so I feel like this is going to be your best opportunity to get the most you can get out of him. So you got to do it. Right? Yeah. You gotta pull the trigger if you're going to trade him. And the Tyrod Taylor thing, they paid him a lot of money to come be a backup.
Or play for 1 year while they suck because they traded Deshaun away.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what that makes more sense, right? Why would you bring in Tyrod if Deshaun is going to play? So either he sits out a year, right, or you trade him. Either way, Tyrod is your starter in Houston. Sorry for you Houston Texans fans, and I got a lot of friends who are Houston Texans fans. It's going to be bad. Well, they're not. I mean, I think Cook's still got 1 year there, right?
He restructured,
and they kept Johnson too, right?
Yeah, they kept David Johnson. We'll see.
They signed like 6 guys. They were all low contracts, but so
yeah, they signed 13, and all 12 of them are 1 year deals. Or something like that. Like they're just
signed 13. I didn't even see that they signed 13.
I saw something where they've signed like a ton. They signed up like 4 or 5 former Patriots, like little names. Derek Rivers.
I'll tell you right now who they signed. I'm about to pull it up right now on Spot Track.
Yeah, they got Mark Ingram,
Kevin Pierre-Louis, outside linebacker, Roberts, wide receiver, Christian Kursky. There you go. There's a recycle. McCray, Rivers. Brunger Hill, these are all like 4-2, like total deal. 4.5, 4, 3, 2.5, 2.5. I mean, these are all low, because they're in
rebuild. They're filling the roster.
Tremont Smith, the Tyrod Taylor thing is hilarious. Vincent Taylor, who we had in Cleveland. Chris Moore from Baltimore. Mark Ingram. I mean, Mark Ingram got $2.5 million for 1 year. What does that tell you about? He's done.
He was done already. Hell, he's inactive in Baltimore most of their damn games last year.
Yeah, they signed a bunch of younger guys, except for Ingram, all 28 or younger. It looks like, except for Brooks, the free safety from New England that they got. But for the most part, they're all younger guys.
Brooks is such. Dude, all he did was get burnt last year. I'm so glad he's gone. He was so. Belichick loved him because he plays 5 different. He can play everywhere, so he's getting burned everywhere. But yeah, make sure to tune in next week. Me and Alex will go more signings, more stuff going on. NBA trade deadline is soon, I think, so we might see some trades there as well. Tomorrow, me and Chuck got a ECW Hall. I don't think they even have. I don't know if they have a Hall of Fame run, but ECW legend Just Incredible. We're interviewing tomorrow at 7.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a pretty good get. He reached out to us, and that was pretty cool. We'll have him at 7:00 tonight. Get his reaction to all this this new age of wrestling, because it's a lot different from when he was in the sport.
AEW and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Look at me, man. I'm trying for you, buddy. I'm trying to.
Piece of advice to you is don't watch AEW. Stick with the name brand. Stick with WWE. AEW is something he's going to be criticizing a lot tomorrow. I can already tell you guys. And then in 15 minutes, you got that Arena Rock show right after this. So I got to wrap this up before they start yelling at me. I'm Josh. That's Alex. We'll see you next week. Thank you for everybody.
Stay safe.
Let's get